You're creating unrealistic expectations and sabotaging your chances of living true love. Sometimes you find yourself idealizing the perfect partner, believing that your soulmate will appear out of nowhere and fill all the voids in your life. But are these expectations, which seem so sweet and hopeful, really helping you? In fact, creating an idealized image of someone only puts barriers between you and the love you can experience now. Who said true love needs to follow a script of perfection? Real love involves imperfections, challenges, and above all, a desire to build together. When you wait for someone who is absolutely perfect, you're sabotaging your own happiness and blocking people who are already willing to truly love you. Want to learn more about how to shift this mindset? Take a look at the first pinned comment for a deep insight. The obsession with finding your soulmate is causing you to ignore real opportunities for connection. Have you ever wondered if the relentless search for a soulmate is pushing you away from the people who are really there for you? The obsession with finding someone destined for you can blind you to the connections happening right in front of you. Maybe you've already met someone with the potential to be an incredible partner, but being so focused on that unattainable ideal, you didn't give the experience a chance. True love can arise unexpectedly with people who initially seem ordinary. Don't waste real connection opportunities because you're waiting for something that may never happen the way you imagine. Look around with fresh eyes and see what's truly available to you now. To dive deeper, be sure to check out the first pinned comment. Waiting for someone who doesn't exist is stopping you from truly loving yourself. It's cruel how the idea of a soulmate can keep you trapped in an illusion. By waiting for someone who doesn't exist, you're neglecting the most important person, yourself. How can you fully love someone else if you haven't yet learned to love yourself? The search for this perfect being often comes from a lack of confidence and self-love, leading you to believe that you'll only be complete when this person arrives. But what if I told you that this idealized person might never appear? And more importantly, that you don't need them to be whole. Don't be held hostage by a fantasy, as it pulls you away from the reality of who you are and how incredible you already are on your own. Have you ever experienced this? Comment below. Your love for yourself will always be the first and most important. This belief is keeping you stuck in toxic relationships, waiting for a change that will never come. How many times have you stayed in a relationship thinking, "He's my soulmate, I just need to wait for him to change"? Maybe this belief that there's a predestined bond is trapping you in a destructive cycle. You accept mistreatment, lack of consideration, and even emotional abuse, all because you believe you're connected to something greater that justifies all the suffering. But this belief is blinding you. The painful truth is, if someone isn't treating you with the respect you deserve, they won't change. The expectation that true love will overcome all obstacles keeps you stuck, hurt, and worse, waiting for something that will never come. Value yourself enough to understand that your true soulmate would never make you feel like this. Ready to break free? Subscribe to the channel and learn more about how to escape this trap. You're ignoring clear signs that true love doesn't depend on a single predestined person. There are so many signs around you that love is something you can build and nurture with various people throughout your life. But you're so attached to the idea of a soulmate that you end up ignoring them. Love is dynamic, evolving, and happens between people who decide to walk together, regardless of destiny. You may have already passed up incredible opportunities to love someone because you were waiting for this perfect person, as if a divine light would point and say, "It's him." However, true love doesn't need this kind of external validation. It's built with effort, respect, and mutual commitment. Don't underestimate the connections you already have or could develop because you're fixated on an illusion. Want to understand more about this? Check out the pinned comment below for more details. The desperate search for a soulmate is leading you to accept less than you deserve. The constant search for your other half can be so insidious that it makes you accept anything just to feel like you've found that person. Have you ever accepted toxic behavior, manipulation, or disrespect, all because you believe that deep down this person is the one for you? This is dangerous. By accepting less than you deserve, you diminish yourself, fade away, and lose your essence. No one should accept crumbs of love just to satisfy a belief. True love would never make you feel small. Don't let the obsession with this idealized person blind you to the fact that you deserve more. Change this pattern. Someone who treats you with disrespect or neglect is not your soulmate, no matter how much you want to believe it. Have you gone through this? Comment below, share your experience. The idea of romantic destiny is an excuse for you to hold on to failing relationships. Have you ever stopped to think that you're clinging to the idea of romantic destiny just to justify a relationship that clearly isn't working? Many times we use the concept of soulmates or a destined path for us as an excuse not to face the harsh truth that the relationship is over. This is a form of self-deception, a way to avoid immediate suffering, but prolongs a much greater pain. If the relationship is failing, it's not because you aren't trying hard enough or because you need to wait longer, it's because it's simply not meant to be. True love doesn't need to be forced or built on one-sided sacrifices. Value your time, your energy, and your life. Don't waste another second waiting for something that should have already ended. Want more tips on how to move on? Subscribe to the channel to keep receiving content like this. You're putting your happiness in the hands of an illusion, while real love is all around you. It's terrifying to realize how much you might be placing your happiness in a fantasy, while real love is happening all around you, but you're blind to it. The illusion of a soulmate makes you emotionally dependent on something that never arrives, keeping you in a constant state of waiting and frustration. Meanwhile, there are people ready to love you, value you, and share a life with you. But you don't see it because you're stuck in the myth that only one person, one being can bring you this happiness. Stop postponing your life for an illusion. Open your eyes to the opportunities already knocking on your door. Don't waste any more time. Check the pinned comment below to learn more about how to recognize real love around you. The idea that there is only one perfect person for you is delaying your love life. This belief that there's only one perfect person in the world for you, a soulmate, is paralyzing you and delaying your love life in ways you may not even realize. Every time you reject a potential connection or let a relationship go because you believe you haven't found the right one yet, you're creating an emotional void. Have you felt this way, stuck in a cycle of waiting and frustration? It's a vicious cycle that makes you procrastinate decisions and prevents you from building something meaningful. The truth is, love is a choice and can flourish with many people you meet throughout life, as long as both parties are willing to invest in the relationship. If you've been through this or feel like you're living this dilemma, comment below. Sharing your story may be the first step in breaking this cycle. You're confusing emotional neediness with a spiritual connection. Often the lack of affection or attention makes us believe that we've found a spiritual connection when, in fact, it's just our emotional neediness speaking louder. When you're emotionally vulnerable, it's easy to confuse small gestures of affection with something bigger, as if that person were destined to be with you. But is that really the case? Or are you projecting your own needs for love and validation onto someone who isn't your soulmate, but simply fills a temporary void? Confusing neediness with spirituality is dangerous, as you end up idealizing relationships that, in reality, are unsustainable. Don't be fooled by your own unmet desires. Understanding the difference between emotional neediness and a genuine spiritual connection is crucial to avoid falling into traps that only lead to long-term frustrations. Believing that there is only one soulmate makes you ignore the importance of building healthy relationships. When you're convinced that there is only one soulmate in the world for you, you forget something essential. Every relationship requires building, effort, and commitment. This idea that there's a single predestined person paralyzes you because you believe destiny will do all the work, and that's not true. Healthy love isn't something that just happens. It's cultivated day by day with patience, communication, and sometimes sacrifice. If you keep waiting for this magical connection, you might be neglecting real relationships, those that have the potential to grow and flourish over time. Solid relationships don't depend on some supposed cosmic force, but on two people willing to put in the effort.